What's up, everyone? I'm back from ICAST. I'm going to tell you my thoughts of the show. Been to about 15 of them, so I'll kind of show you my thoughts on this show compared to others, some trends, things like that. Let's recap ICAST 2024 right now. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. This channel is dedicated to bass fishing, primarily tackle, a lot of gear reviews, and like I said in some other previous videos, this is my favorite time of year, ICAST. This is when all the new stuff comes out. Like I mentioned, I've been to about 15 of them, covering them, writing about different products, just a lot of different roles, but I've been to a lot of ICAST shows. Now this one, I'd say as far as innovation and uniqueness and excitement, wasn't ranked that high, to be honest with you. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that came out before the show. Maybe it's just because that's kind of the trend. Companies are releasing products before ICAST, trying to get the jump on it. So there wasn't really any major surprises. But that doesn't mean it was a bad show. There's a lot of cool products. Everything is getting better and better. There's a lot of innovation, but there's also a lot of stuff that is just copies of other stuff or rehashing baits of the past. I see that a lot. Now that I've been to so many of these, been around the industry, I could see a bait and I say, I remember when this company made that bait and now it looks just a little bit different, or whatever the case. There's a lot of that. But one of the main themes, and no surprise, is forward-facing sonar. Jig heads and minnows were everywhere. I did a quick YouTube short, also posted it on my Instagram. And it was kind of just how many times I saw the words FFS or forward-facing sonar or scope, just from looking at products in the new product showcase for about a half an hour. I mean, I saw 20 products that mentioned that. There was a lot more than that, but that was definitely the theme. Everything is about the jig head minnow. There's rods dedicated for the technique. There's line. There's additives that you can put on your bait to make your bait show up better. I mean, that's not new, but there's just a lot more of that stuff. Now, with that being said, even though a jig head is a jig head, a round ball head for the most part, there was some innovation as far as how the line is tied onto the bait or onto the jig head. So that was pretty cool. People are really putting a lot of thought into getting the most out of that jig head minnow technique. The minnows themselves are really, getting more realistic, more roll, things like the fins that they put on them, kind of like the depth Sakamata shad. There's a lot of innovation to achieve a better result from the jig head minnow. So yeah, that's the forward-facing side of it. The other main thing that I saw a lot of was not FFS, but BFS, bait finesse system. It's been around for a while, but that thing is so popular, that technique, that style of fishing, bait cast gear with very light line, light or ultralight rods. That's something I'm going to be getting into. I keep getting comments about that. I keep, hearing more and more about bait finesse. So I'm going to jump into that pool. I'm going to try it. So there is, high-end stuff. Daiwa's got their PX BFS system. They got rods, but they also have lower price stuff like $100, like the Tatula XT, $100 rod for BFS. So you can get in kind of relatively inexpensive, or you can go full on and get some high-end stuff. They had some really expensive rods, high-end reels for this style of fishing. Cashin has a lot of these rods as well. I just kept seeing this, so that's something I'm going to be getting into just to try it, see what it's all about. Probably start small and see if I like it or not before I go head first and get some $700 setup for a very limited use, in my opinion, at this time. So FFS and BFS were big trends. The other big trend was a lot of copies. That's how the fishing world works. Everyone kind of rips each other off. It's just kind of how it goes, unfortunately. But I saw the Core Tackle hover rig. That was in a few different products. A few different companies had similar products. You can even buy a mold to make the exact same thing, and that mold won an award, which is hilarious. But anyways, that's one ugly side of it. The other thing that I saw was Strike King coming out with their version of the riser bait. The Jackal riser bait has been out since I think 2017. Admittedly, it's really hard to get. So, at least with the Strike King version, you're going to be able to find it. But that's basically a straight copy of it. So that's just kind of how things go in the fishing world. Can't take sides either way. I see both sides of it, but there is a lot of that out there. So there were some trends, BFS, forward-facing, copies, but there was a lot of also innovation. There was a lot of Japanese companies there. I do have some products coming that I'll be talking about. a lot of these companies kind of start small at ICAST with little booths, way in the back hall, way back by the concession stand, and then a few years later they're much bigger. I remember when G-Crack came probably 10 years ago, they were nobodies, but now they had a bigger booth, bigger presence, bigger name. So there's a lot of that, these small companies trying to get into the American market. So there's a lot of excitement there. Same with rod companies. There's a lot of small rod companies that start off small, kind of custom rods, and then get, custom feeling rods, and then maybe they get a presence and get bigger and bigger. Fitzgerald fishing is one of those. Like, I remember I drew Trevor Fitzgerald in a BFL, and at the time, this when I was down in Florida, I was a co-angler, and he was making custom rods. His wife was doing everything. Now they have a big booth, really nice rods, reels, baits, all that stuff. So it's kind of cool to see the evolution of companies. The more that you're paying attention to that, you'll see that companies start small, garage type baits, and then get bigger and bigger. So that was one more trend. Like I said, this is a lot of random thoughts. I did an article for westernbass.com. I kind of talked about some of my most unique baits or products there. The ones I included were the BKK OCD system. It's a really cool tackle box with basically a set of all their hooks. So it has neatly organized, 2-aught EWG, 3-aught EWG, 4-aught EWG, same with all the straight shank, everything like that. So basically you have every style of hook, every size of those hooks perfectly organized. That's why I call it the OCD. It's a $300 box, but you can just buy the box by itself. It's $300 with all the hooks. So I thought that was really cool. I saw Lithium Pros is doing sodium ion batteries. Obviously still doing lithium, but that was unique. That was something I included in there. You have a lot of kind of fuzzy dice type baits out there. Rains had the umbrella wire, which is basically looks like a gob of night crawlers. You just hook it in the middle, and it just looks like 10 night crawlers on there. Really crazy looking bait, so really interested in that. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff that kind of stood out for me. Not your typical, what you read about, the press releases, the companies that get all the attention. There was a lot of smaller companies that had cool products. That's always my favorite part of ICAST, is seeing that. Geomex had that metal glide bait. Put that in that article as well. A CNC machined aluminum glide bait, a big bait, like a 9-incher, metal aluminum. So really unique to see all this stuff. I mean, who knows if it's all good, if it's going to work, if it's going to stick, if you're going to see it next year. But that's always my favorite part of ICAST. I mean, besides seeing all the friends and people at different companies, it's seeing that innovation. And as far as this ICAST for innovation, I think it's right up there with it. There wasn't any crazy game changers that made me like, wow, like mind blown. It wasn't like that, but there was a lot of good stuff out there. So the industry is strong. I can't wait to the next one. And I'm also excited for all the new products once they start hitting stores. Typically, this is just a show and tell type show. They show off the products. A lot of times they're just first run prototypes or second run, but they will be available typically starting in August, and then September, October, there'll be all those new products coming out. I will be getting a lot of those. I talked to a lot of the different companies. So once those things become available, I'll do a video like this, showing you what it is, and then like I do with all my videos, fish them and let you know what I thought. Just wanted to give you the recap of ICAST 2024. Thanks for watching.